the situation with this player, for me anyway, was a head scratcher. He had the size, he had the scoring touch. He came from a great WHL squad in Portland before he was drafted. Montreal Canadiens were high on him. Winnipeg Jets of the WHA also selected him. But Dale Yakiwchuk became the Wayne Gretzky of the IHL in indirect means. He was one of the top skaters ever in the history of the IHL of the 1980s, and should have been an NHL pro, but factors played against him. Now, Dale, not to be confused with Dale Yakiwchuk, was born in Cardston, Alberta, but called Calgary, Alberta home. Now, the 78 NHL amateur draft, which had a whole bunch of great projects and players that felt could do the WHL proud in the major leagues, and Dale was one of them. Now, just a little bit of background. He played with Tabor and Lethbridge in the 76 season. That's when he first came to major prominence. With Tabor in the AJHL, he had 10 points in 13 games, 93 minutes and penalties. With Lethbridge, he had 3 goals and 14 assists for 17 points in 43 contests with 146 minutes and penalties. So you can see what was going on. He wasn't scared to drop the gloves, played center, left wing, protected the top players. Now, during his draft year, he put up some dynamite and confusing numbers, ladies and gentlemen. 84 points in 64 games with 32 goals and 312 minutes and penalties. He was averaging more than 5 penalty minutes per game. Do the math on that. Now, he did not enter the NHL until the 79 NHL-WHA merger, as Montreal did not take him back in the NHL reclaim draft on June 9, 79, as part of a larger deal in which Winnipeg agreed it would not take Bill Nyrop, who was in semi-retirement, Gilles Pierre, who just moved up to the big club in recent years, or the great Rod Langway off Montreal's roster in the NHL expansion draft on June 13, 1979. Now, this was kind of bizarre. He played the majority of the 79 season with 2 squads, the Philadelphia Firebirds and the Nova Scotia Voyageurs. Of course, Nova Scotia was Montreal's main affiliate. With them, he had 8 playoff games, with 3 goals in 12 games. But with the Firebirds, he had 20 points in 46 games. What's bizarre here, ladies and gentlemen, he played 4 games in the WHA, but was not with them for the AFCO Cup run. Now, 1979-80, Winnipeg kept him. He played with 2 teams that year. Cincinnati Stingers, not the WHA version, but the CHL version, 19 points in 30 games, including 75 minutes in penalties. In 1980, he had 12 points in 37 games for the Tulsa Oilers of the CHL. Now here it gets very strange. Bear with me for a second. He was released by Winnipeg in October 1980. So he was only 78. He was drafted and released, and at the time, by my count here, ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't 22 years of age. Very strange, don't you think? But he eventually found his way to the IHL, and boys, did he do well. By the way, sorry about that, he was drafted in 78 by Winnipeg. My apologies. Now, IHL Lamoureux Trophy winner for points, 83 with Milwaukee, the Admirals, with 138 points. He made the IHL All-Star first team in that season. He set a record that year for most points in one season and most assists in one season, 100. So he was putting up Gretzky numbers. At the time, it was a Milwaukee record. Now, he led the IHL in assists in 83 with Milwaukee with 100 and 84 again with Milwaukee with 69. Now, again, 4 games with the Jets of the WHA. Now, what happened in 1979, this was quite interesting. He was on the Cincinnati CHL team that folded on December 17th of that year. Now, the single-season record for assists that he broke were held up for quite some time. To my knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, he's one of only maybe 24 players to score 100 assists in a season. That doesn't happen very often. I don't think it's more than 20. Gretzky, I'm talking individual seasons. Gretzky did quite a few, Bobby Orr and a few others. But let's look at the numbers after being released. With the EHL, he had 60 games in 1981 with Richmond and the Baltimore Clippers. 75 points, 26 goals, with 91 minutes in penalties. 82 with Milwaukee, 18, 57, 75, 249 minutes in penalties. 83, the season that, hard to describe, ladies and gentlemen. He had 79 games, 38 goals, 100 assists, 138 points, but 223 minutes in penalties. So by the time he was on the ice, either he was getting a penalty or he was getting a point. In the playoffs, he had 7 points in 11 games, including 54 minutes in penalties. 84, 35, 69, 104 with only 67 minutes in penalties. But his quiet play picked up, that didn't pick up in the next season with Kalamazoo in 85. 70 points in 82 games, including 187 minutes in penalties. As 86, 33, 68, 101 with 265 minutes in penalties. 87, a combined season with Milwaukee and Kalamazoo. 83 games, 31 goals, 48 assists for 79 points and 180 minutes in penalties. So final major pro totals, 4 games with the Jets in 79, but the IHL numbers, ladies and gentlemen, just through the roof. And I look at those 5 seasons in the IHL, 6 seasons in the IHL, averaging 90 points a season, 3 100-point campaigns, and 2 over 70, just tremendous. And again, he won the Leo Lamoureux Memorial Trophy in 83 as MVP. If anyone out there knows why that he gave up on him, can tell me why Winnipeg and or Montreal did that. Doesn't make any sense. 6'4", 205. You can't train size, ladies and gentlemen. So, Dale, not the Yakiwchuk, but the other hard-to-say last name. If you like what we're doing with our vintage podcast on former WHA players, and get this, number 30th pick by Montreal overall in 78. So he must have saw something in him. But imagine he was playing on a line with Chartrand or Brubaker or something like that. I would have given this guy a chance. I mean, especially in the road game. Sean Shanahan almost did the same thing a few years before. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. As we like to say in the North Shore, keep your stick on the ice. Have a good evening. Bye.